Charles County. Welcome to another episode of Inside Your County Government with a focus on Let's Get Fiscal, all things related to budget, finance, and spending money and saving money here in Charles County, Maryland. Joining us today, as always, is Jake Dyer, our Director of Fiscal and Admin Services, and an amazing co-host. Thanks, Jake.
Thanks for having me.
It's not really a choice at this point, is it?
It's a choice that I like to be here.
Good.
Though.
I'm glad you feel that way. And we have a special guest today, Stacy Schaefer, who's the Executive Director of our Resilience Authority.
Yes.
Thanks for being here, Stacy. I appreciate it. Let's talk a little bit about how we're having this episode that's Resilience Authority, which is this really kind of cool entity that aligns with Charles County government.
Yes.
On an episode where we talk about all things related to money. Yeah. So what is the Resilience Authority, Stacy, and why does it exist? And then, Jake, you'll be able to talk about how the money ties into that.
So in 2020, the Maryland State Legislature passed a law allowing local jurisdictions to form resilience authorities to help accelerate the pace and scale, including financing, climate resilience projects in their locality. Soon after the state law was passed, Charles County government, our commissioners passed a law creating the Resilience Authority of Charles County, which makes us the first resilience authority in the state. Still very exciting.
It is a big deal, yeah.
Yes. And our job, so we are a government instrumentality in that we align with the government, and much of our work is on government publicly accessible lands to benefit the most people. So although we're a government instrumentality, we are not part of the government. We have an independent board, which does have two Charles County government executive leadership team members, one of whom is Jake.
We'll talk about that in a sec where the money comes in.
Yeah.
Yes. And we are a 501c3 organization, not part of the government. So we are able, for the projects that we do, our job is to bring money to Charles County to put climate resilience projects in the ground.
And why, Stacy, is it important that you are this standalone branch instead of why didn't we just create a division called, under the Department of Planning and Growth Management or under Public Works, this is the Resilience Division. What's different? Why do you get more money the way that you are?
Right. So we're much more nimble. We have our own bylaws, and because we're a 501c3, we can partner with it makes us eligible, first of all, for federal and state grants that the county is not necessarily.
The government is not.
Exactly.
So there is ways that we can access funds that are not accessible to the government.
Exactly.
They are accessible to a 501c3.
Exactly.
You can use those funds, but you use them in a way that supports kind of the government public projects that we needed the help in supporting.
Absolutely.
Great. Okay. And all of this circles back to then this independent board of directors, because you don't fall under the county commissioners. No. You don't fall under the county administrator. You have a board of directors, including Jake. So, yes. Jake, you've got three hats on today. So yes. You're podcast co-host, you are Director of Fiscal and Admin Services, and member of the board.
Correct. And I'm the treasurer of the Resilience Authority, and I was appointed by the commissioners. When I became the director, I then became the treasurer of the Resilience Authority. And
this makes so much sense that they didn't make you like the secretary, right?
Have you seen my handwriting?
So will it kind of consistently be that somebody from the Fiscal and Admin Services Department always serves as the treasurer on that board?
Yes. So the previous treasurer was Jenny Allen. She became the treasurer when she was director of fiscal administrators, and then when she was acting deputy county manager, she stayed on that role until a permanent director was found.
And then we have one other, you said member,
yes.
who's a Charles County government staff, who's also a member of the board. Where does that position fall?
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, sure. No, so that's Martin Harris, and he was also appointed by the county commissioners. So in our bylaws, it's that two of our members are appointed by the Charles County commissioners. And Martin Harris is the director of the Department of Public Works. So a lot of his work also intersects with what we're doing and really helps inform us where there's county need.
Where there is the need. So you've got kind of this nice balance of supporting work that Charles County government knows needs to happen, but in a way that Charles County government couldn't get it done independently.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So let's talk about this money.
Yes.
So Jake, talk to us about the budget of the Resilience Authority. How is it created?
Yeah.
Where does the money come from? What do we use it for?
Right, that's a good question. So the county does generate two fees on your tax bill. One of them is the environmental service fee, and the other one is the stormwater remediation fee. We do have dedicated revenues coming from those fees that do get provided to the Resiliency Authority. And that's more to support the day-to-day operations of the authority. And then on top of that, Stacy and her team are out leveraging those funds to get grants to help pay for these certain type of projects that are related here.
So the fees that are coming in on somebody's taxes are really based just to keep the Resilience Authority. I'm struggling to not use the word alive, but to keep
operational.
it operational. That's
Yes.
a great word.
Yes.
That's a money word.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So to keep it operational, Charles County government residents are paying that in,
Yeah.
but then all the other money coming in is based off of what we're eligible for through grants and
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the Resilience Authority has secured a little over $5.7 million in grants for work that is being done in Charles County. We just had our groundbreaking ceremony at Elite Gymnastics, where we're taking an unused portion of the parking lot that's all asphalt. It's hot, it's a heat island because there's no tree shade. It also floods there quite a bit. And you have this wonderful indoor facility. And what we're doing is we worked with engineers. We applied for a competitive grant, first through the state's Watershed Assistance Grant Program, and then second through the Maryland Department of Natural Resources Grants Gateway. So it's a two-step process to get the grant funding. We have all of it now, and today actually they are breaking ground, and we are creating a pocket park.
That's awesome.
So the kids that are in summer camp, for example, at Elite, can be inside and will be able to come outside too into the park.
Great. And this summer I was laughing, Stacy, I had my niece in from out of town. She lives in Brooklyn, and I was trying to come up with the word heat island, and I could not come up with it. And I actually reached out to Nolani in our planning and growth management department, and I was like, Nolani, what's that word for when there aren't trees, so the ground gets too hot? And she told me, but give me the technical definition, please, so that our listeners and viewers know what is a heat island. Do better than what I just did.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, there is state mapping. If you go onto the Maryland Department of Environment or Maryland DNR websites, those are areas where there's too much impervious surface. So too much
And
concrete.
impervious means like it's not, when water hits it,
it runs off.
it doesn't go down.
Right.
Okay.
So that also contributes to stormwater flooding
Okay.
because the water has nowhere to go. But when you have asphalt like that, it reflects the heat up, and it actually affects air quality a great deal too. It creates ozone. So you have lower air quality, and the temperature can be as much as 20 degrees hotter between an area that has asphalt all over it that is reflecting, everything back up, and say an area or a pocket park that has trees and grass and shrubs, because the trees both provide shade, but the way they breathe, they actually cool the air as
Gotcha.
well.
So this is such a cool project because it happened on county government property because of Elite, which is
Correct.
our gymnastics center, our recreation center. So we now have all these different departments involved too, because we've got the Resilience Authority that went out and found the money separate of what our taxpayers are paying. So this was, I'm going to use the word free money in quotes delicately. So money that we didn't need to use for our residents. And then we had Recreation Parks and Tourism because it's their site. And we added in Department of Public Works because we're making sure that it's something that can be maintained. So it's a nice, this is how we all work together kind of story, yeah?
Yes, it's
And it
wonderful.
benefits the residents in the area and the users of the center.
Exactly.
Okay. So Jake, talk to us a little bit more about how big is this budget? What else are we doing with it? How is it lined up?
Right. So the budget for their current fiscal year is just under $500,000.
Okay.
Most of that is supporting contractual services as well as personnel. But the contractual services is what we're really using to leverage these grant opportunities. And it also helps pays for permit fees that are related to any construction job. So at Elite Gymnastics, sometimes grants don't allow permit fees to be part of the grant. So they had to find a funding source. So we were able to leverage these funds to help pay for the permits that are related to getting the construction done.
Okay. So
Yeah.
making sure that we're using government dollars where we need government dollars,
Correct.
where grant dollars aren't able to support.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And I will say, there's much, not just Elite, there's other things going on in that she's doing work at Bensville Park. She's about to do work on at the Water Senior Rec Center. There's shoreline restoration going on at Pope's Creek. There's some activities going on in Indian Head. So Stacy is super busy. I think last year you also planted a whole bunch of trees
Yes,
at
we have
the high schools.
600 trees.
It's 600
That's
trees. Say
awesome.
that again, 600 trees.
Over.
Over 600 trees of
And
grant
with
funds.
students involved, I remember there were some really great connections there.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Stacy, what's the number one like highlight for this upcoming fiscal, I say upcoming, the fiscal year that we're in? What are you excited about getting money for and spending money on?
Right. Well, I'm super excited about the projects that we're able to put in the ground. The way these grants work is first you do the design engineering, and that's one type of grant, and that takes approximately 1 year, and that has to go through permitting. And then you get a different grant, again, state, federal monies, to actually pay for the construction.
Okay.
So I actually was able to start a LEAT under the board of directors' guidance.
Yeah.
They are my bosses. I was able to start a LEAT in 2023 to get the engineered design.
And it's taken this long to now get to the groundbreaking.
Exactly. But having said that, that's a fairly fast process.
Okay.
Because there's going to be a pocket park in the ground. There won't be leaves on the tree because of the time of the year, but by the end of December.
Great. So
Yeah.
something to look forward to as we're seeing spring bloom. We're going to have this new park blooming with us.
Exactly.
That's
And then
great.
we're also putting in a nature trail, it's called a Nodes of Nature Trail at Bennsville County Park
Okay.
in an unused field that is just being mowed. And when you have compacted mowed turf grass, that can also be a form of, first of all, it doesn't absorb stormwater. It almost acts like it's impervious. And a heat island into itself. You know,
Okay.
when you walk out on the athletic field sometimes and you're blinded and
Yeah.
it's super hot, that's a heat island. So what we're doing is we're creating this winding walking trail with groves of trees where people can sit and then learn about the different practices. They're called nature-based solutions to both cool the air and absorb stormwater flooding.
That's awesome. And Bennsville is one of our really popular parks for sports and activities. So it's great that we've got people using that for what it was originally designed for, but now in an unused space, we're
Yes.
both providing another recreation activity, but also doing something really good for the earth.
Yes,
Well,
exactly.
sounds like just a win-win all around, right? Stacy, what's the number one thing you hope that our viewers, listeners take away from this? When they think about the Resilience Authority, what do you want them to know or share or remember?
Yeah, well, what I hope folks can take away from this is it is our job to bring money to do projects. And we have been incredibly fortunate and successful in getting grants for all of our projects.
You guys are doing work that otherwise would not get done, I think is what I hear you saying. Is that an
Yes.
accurate statement? That,
Yes.
That this is stuff that Charles County government wouldn't have access to without
Correct.
really putting a money burden on our residents.
Yes.
But you're able to go out and get that money without putting the burden on our residents, but it benefits the whole community.
Yes.
Is that an accurate statement?
That is absolutely an accurate
Awesome.
statement. Yes.
Yeah, I love that we found ways creatively, and Jake, that kind of leads to my next question to you, because I think, Stacy, we want people to get involved, and you're looking for volunteers also. Yes, you guys have ways that community can get involved if they want.
Yes. So when we have our ribbon cuttings, we're actually going to have a demonstration site at Bennsville County Park. And I should also mention that we have the Resilience Authority Youth Corps, and that's made up of local
Great.
high school students, and that
Okay.
is paid green jobs to help
So
take
let's
care
make
of
sure
our
we
places.
put in the show notes ways people can get connected with you if they're hearing this, and if we have young people listening that are interested, or if we have older people who have young people
Yes.
that they know how to connect with you.
Absolutely.
That's great. Jake, what's I'm gonna say this, and I hope it comes out the right way, Jake. You nerd out about money in a way that I do not nerd out about money.
Yeah.
When you heard about the Resilience Authority becoming a thing in Maryland, and you knew we were going to be the first, what gets you so budget excited about this in a way that I'm just glad we have nice things coming to the county that are good for the earth, but from a financial perspective, what gets you so wound up?
Because I think at the end of the day, we save money by doing this, because if Resilience Authority didn't exist and the job still needed to get done, that meant it had to fall on county government to get that done. And that could have taken us away from doing another project that we're working on, or there's also more costs associated when it comes to
Yeah.
government, more red tape, I would say, is a good way of saying it, which having the Resilience Authority does take out that red tape, because they can quickly mobilize. They have more doors they can open up to get things done in Charles County.
So it's kind of a nice partnership, a nice benefit if we have the flexibility and the creativity of a 501c3, but we've got the stability of government to support it, and the two are working together instead of I think a park would be cool over here, but what we really needed was this over there. It sounds like there's a lot of communication of
100%.
This is what the government really thinks would benefit residents. this is how we could do that in a way that we can afford in the most efficient and effective way possible.
Yes.
Yes,
Super
I work
cool.
with all of the department heads in county government.
Yeah.
So yeah, the partnerships is multi-layered.
Yeah.
To make sure we're not doing something that is redundant, or we're not doing something that's not needed. Like
Right.
we really want to hone in on what is needed. And right now,
Where is there a
we're
gap that otherwise our residents would have to pay for? So
Yes.
Exactly.
yeah, here's to residents not paying for more things when there's other money available to it. That's
Yes.
beautiful.
100%.
Awesome. Cool. All right. So here's to the Resilience Authority. We'll put in the show notes ways that people can get more involved and know how they can support both in being committed to showing up to events, but also learning about the work you're doing. And I'm assuming if somebody wanted to see all this financial stuff, where is that posted, Jake? And
Well,
we can put it in the show notes
on
too.
our website, there is a Resilience Authority dedicated page.
Okay.
So I would certainly send them to that
Great.
location.
And then they can see all of these fun numbers that you want to look at that I don't.
In addition, under boards and commissions, you can go on it. There's just like any meeting, just like the commissioners or the planning commission,
Mm-hmm.
all the meetings that occur, there's an agenda with a whole bunch of links to any of the documents to review.
Great.
During that presentation, we do provide a financial update so they can click on that and see anything they want.
So the good transparency of government along with all of that.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here, Stacy. I appreciate you coming down, our Executive Director of the Resilience Authority for Charles County.
Thank you for having me.
And Jake, I always appreciate it when you're here, and thank you for the many hats you wear from Charles County, from your director role to your podcasting role to now sitting on this board and acting as the treasurer.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure to have you guys. Looking forward to hearing more about the projects that are coming. And thank you, Charles County, for tuning in. We always appreciate your desire to know what's going on and stay more engaged with your county government. Thanks so much for being here. You can always go back through our old episodes if you want other information on all things related to budget and finance here in Charles County. Thanks so much. Take care, stay safe, and stay engaged.
Thanks for listening. If you like this podcast and want to hear more, search Charles County Government on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. And be sure to like and subscribe. We're also available on YouTube. Search Charles County Commissioners. And stay connected for all county news, information, and programs by visiting www.charlescountymd.gov/stay connected.